Hello and welcome to Dr. Anima Upadhyay's Chemistry and Technology lecture videos. In today's video, we will learn the method to determine the dropping point of grease using dropping point apparatus. I will not only explain to you the method how to determine the dropping point of a grease, but also tell you the important viva voce questions and the questions that could be asked to you in your theory exams as well. So I request to you that if you have not subscribed to my channel so far, do it now. And also share this video among all your friends so that they can also prepare well for their exams. Now let's begin with today's video, that is the dropping point of grease. What is a grease? Grease is a semi-solid lubricant for machines that can't be lubricated with liquid lubricant such as oil. What is dropping point of a grease? The dropping point of a grease is the temperature at which the grease changes from a semi-solid state to a liquid state. It also indicates the heat resistance capacity of the grease. What is the importance or significance of determination of dropping point of a grease? The dropping point indicates the upper temperature limit at which a grease retains its structure. It is a measure of the heat resistance of the grease beyond which it loses its consistency, that is its thickness, and transits into liquid state, making it no longer useful for lubrication applications. Thus, the dropping point is an important property that determines the suitability of greases for applications and also in its quality control. What is grease made up of? Generally, greases consists of a soap emulsified with mineral or vegetable oil. They could be sodium, calcium, lithium soaps. In which machines grease is used as a lubricant? Grease is often used in applications where temperatures and speeds are not high. That is, grease is used in the machines working at low speeds and at low temperatures, such as excavators, cranes, mining trucks, and wheel loaders. What are the main components of a grease? Grease have three essential components: base oil, thickener, and additive. What are the disadvantages of grease? The disadvantages of using grease is that it can cake and dry out. But this can occur over a period of time when the oil separates from the grease thickener. On what components dropping point of a grease depends? It is dependent on the type of thickener and the cohesiveness of the oil and thickener used in the grease. Can grease be used at or below its dropping point? No. A grease below or at its dropping point should not be used for lubrication. Can the dropping point of grease be raised? If yes, give example. Yes, it can be raised by adding additives. For example, the dropping point of simple lithium grease is raised by adding zinc along with borate. Are melting and dropping point same? No, they are different. Melting point indicates the temperature at which a substance changes from solid to liquid state, whereas Dropping point is an empirical value that indicates the temperature at which a sample flows through an orifice, that is the hole of the test bottle during the experiment. What is the unit used for expressing dropping point? Since the dropping point is measured in the terms of temperature, therefore its unit is in degrees centigrade, that is the unit of temperature. Explain the method for the determination of dropping point of a grease. The method used to determine the dropping point of grease in lab is very simple. Here we take the grease sample, fill it in the metal cup provided in the apparatus. This cup has a standard dimension orifice, that is a hole at the bottom of the cup, and the cup is in turn fitted in a lidded glass case, as you can see in the figure. A thermometer is inserted in the metal cup in such a way that the bulb of the thermometer should not touch the surface of the sample, the grease which is taken in the cup. This entire assembly is then held in a bath. This bath could be oil bath or water bath, and it is provided with a thermometer and a stirrer. The stirrer is used to keep the temperature of the bath uniform. Heat the bath containing the sample at a controlled rate of 1 degree centigrade per minute. Observe and record in the table the first drop of grease that falls from the cup into a test tube held below the test cup. Report this temperature as dropping point of the sample in degree centigrade and repeat the experiment. How to do the calculations? It is very simple to calculate because we are recording the temperature of the sample, which is say B, and the heater block temperature also as A. So subtract the temperature of the sample B from the heater block temperature A. So A minus B, you will get a value C. Add this value C to the sample temperature B and you will get the dropping point of the grease under test. The observation table, I have shown you here how to draw the observation table and record the temperatures as well as the observations. So slowly the temperature is increased and it is observed whether the drop is formed at that particular temperature or not, and it is recorded as the temperature reaches when the first drop appears. Record it for both heater block temperature and under sample temperature, and this is the temperature which is recorded for the dropping point of the grease under test. The figures you can see here in figure 1, the formation of drop is clearly shown to you, how the drop is formed and it comes out from the orifice, and in the figure 2 the complete setup of the apparatus is shown very clearly. Now what are the precautions that should be taken while conducting the dropping point experiment? So there are many precautions that should be taken care of. First thing is avoid the formation of air bubbles. So to avoid this, fill the test sample using a spatula and also avoid the filling of excess material into the test cup. Monitoring the temperature. Ensure that the temperature of the heater block and the sample should be within the range of 3 degrees centigrade with each other. Recording the temperatures for both sample as well as the heater block when the first drop falls is very important. So it should be recorded very carefully. Wear a mask to avoid the inhalation of vapors during the experiment. If you are using an oil bath, so its flash point should be greater than the dropping point of the grease sample. Open flame should not be used for heating the bath liquid. Always use electric heater. Separate thermometers should be used for recording the temperature of sample, and the heater block. Is dropping point the only test for greases? No. Besides dropping point, there are many tests to study its quality and performance, and these tests are cone penetration test to measure the consistency of the grease and also to see whether the grease is fresh or it is a used one. Oxidation stability. It is used to determine the resistance of grease towards oxidation and sludge formation. Copper corrosion test. It gives us the capacity of grease to protect or damage the metal into which the grease is applied. Oil separation test, which is also called grease bleeding test, is used to determine its storage capacity. Working stability is done to determine the shear stress resistance of the grease. Low temperature torque test is done to determine the load bearing and wear resistance of grease. Corrosion prevention is important to determine the resistance of grease towards atmospheric exposure. Bomb oxidation test determines the oxidation resistance of grease when it is in use or under storage. The ruler test is a measure of the antioxidant levels in the grease samples. And with this, we come to an end of this video. All the very best. Keep watching, and if you have any doubts, don't hesitate to ask questions. Thank you.